Okay, and we are live.
Okay.
Okay, this is ANC 5D's COW meeting, Committee of the Whole meeting, and we are
You froze.
Yeah.
All right. Now you get no. It's frozen.
All right, I'll jump in for him and say that it's 6:39 on Monday, February 27th, and there are, well, 5 of us here. Commissioner Salcedo Guzman will hopefully be back and connected soon. And I think, Ms. Dickerson, he was about to turn it over to you. So I think we can go ahead and do that as long as that sounds okay to everybody else. Keep things moving along. Okay, great. We'll do that.
So I didn't get very much information in terms of exactly what you all wanted to speak about, but just so that you understand who I am and what my role is in the OANC, I am the program manager for that has oversight of the quarterly financial reports. So if there's anything about your ANC's finances, or if there are any questions about your ANC's finances, I can probably answer those for you. So I didn't know if you all just had questions that you wanted to throw out, or how I could best be of help to you this evening.
Don, I know that you and Commissioner Salcedo Guzman and I wanted to talk about something related, something that you saw. I don't know, I guess we can maybe do that now, or well, no, we should wait for Commissioner Salcedo Guzman.
I did have a conversation with him earlier today. I did want to make the ANC aware that Commissioner Henderson did come into our office on last Thursday. And at that time, I printed for her every grant document and every financial report with supporting documents, and supporting documents just being the receipts, not the bank statements and that kind of stuff, but just the receipts that corresponded with the reports for fiscal year 2019 until Q4 22. At that moment, as you know, the commissioner was reviewing those documents, some questions were raised. And what I shared and explained were simply that, unfortunately, a good number of the grants that 5D issued in 2022, the OANC did not approve those grants. And the grants weren't approved because the funds were given to individuals, in the name of an individual and not an organization. And ANC law is very clear that grants must be given to an organization. Another challenge that we had with the 5D grants was that there was one grant, and let me pull this up so that I can speak correctly about what I'm talking about. There was one grant that was given out for $20,000. And I'll have to be honest with you, I wished that we had had more communication between my office and the ANC in terms of structuring how to collect data and information for that grant, because I mean, it was just so many receipts, so much, and it wasn't, the receipts weren't all clear. It wasn't clear, and by clear, I mean, items were purchased, and it wasn't clear what that item was being purchased for or who purchased it. Items were given away, and it wasn't clear who collected or received those items. And so for that reason, and not only did I look at the materials, the Office of the DC Auditor, Ms. Shaw, Frederica Shaw, also looked at the materials as well. And so it was, it was unfortunate, but we had to deny, and we didn't deny the entire grant. What we denied was the ANC's allotment for that quarter, because we just couldn't really make heads or tails of those transactions. So I guess the only thing I would caution is if you all are going to approve a grant, I think it's best that we have a conversation so that we can structure for the grantee the best way to track expenses, the best way to verify the recipient of those grant funds. And again, you know, I admit that our office didn't provide any guidance with respect to how to manage something like that. And when you're dealing with grassroots organizations, they just want to give away the stuff. They don't really, you know, care about keeping up with receipts and the like. So it gets to be a little bit tough. But unfortunately, the ANC suffers because when we can't substantiate an expense, then we can't allow it. And so the ANC loses its funding.
And sorry, Dawn, you said that the grants that there were issues with were issued in which fiscal year?
There were grants. So right at the beginning of the pandemic, it appears. And I don't know, am I able to share my screen?
If I could just respond really quickly, Dawn, thank you for raising those. I was aware of all that. So this is not a surprise. And if I recall correctly, we've already taken a hit to our allotment, so it won't affect us going forward. Is that right? Okay.
No,
okay.
It will not.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
a helpful
So,
clarification.
yeah,
Commissioner Cobb.
the one about the how the grantee has to be a 501c3. We learned that the hard way, like very early on. I think when we gave Kevin Horgan a grant to make face masks with a 3D printer. Yeah. And then as far as the $20,000, that was Family Community Fellowship, who I love, you know, they do great work, but honest to God, their record keeping is so poor and their communication is so sporadic and unpredictable. And I cannot depend on them. And frankly, as treasurer, I'm inclined to not give them any more grants because they are incapable of following the grant rules, even when I made it very clear, you know, because I knew $20,000, that's a lot of money and they're going to do a lot of good with it. But I gave them clear instructions about what I needed and they did not provide it. And the receipts that they did provide, it took Seidel weeks of calling them until finally the Miss Thelma, she came to my house at 12:05 in the morning on a Friday and just handed me a pile of receipts and left. And that's how we finally got the receipts. I mean, it's exasperating working with them and I cannot trust that the money will be allocated for or tracked in the proper way, which ultimately does affect us and affects our ability to give grants to other people. It's just not fair. So that's all I have to say about that.
Commissioner Cobb, good evening. I was getting ready to say, because I did receive the email from you, Ms. Dickerson. I did receive it. And I saw where, she requested that and everything. I didn't print it up, but I saw the email. And Commissioner May, that's what I was talking about when you called me. So we are here, and in my opinion, I must say no.
Yeah, this is very helpful. Ironically, this is a non sequitur, but I actually met with them this week. They wanted to ask for more money. So this is very helpful. I was gonna talk to you all about it tonight. But I think we're already figuring out.
Yeah, I dealt with them, so
And
I'm saying no.
Ms. Dickerson, just to reconfirm, are there any future repercussions in terms of what is being kind of revisited on these issues?
No. Am I able to share my screen?
I think you should be.
Let me make sure this is the right
I
one.
think somebody's trying to do something. I don't know if it's you, Ms. Dickerson, trying to share your screen or not.
I am.
But, yeah.
I don't think it's
It
possible.
says all participants.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, maybe if I hit share.
There you go.
Very good. Okay. So what I'm showing you is information that you all have access to. And it was the information I was trying to send electronically to Commissioner Henderson. But in your QFR OneDrive is a folder that's labeled 5D grant documents. And so this is all of the items that I printed out for Commissioner Henderson. So if you all want to go back and review whatever it was that she received, this is one file where you can see that. And then as I mentioned, it was all of the quarterly financial reports from 2019 to the present. So all of the supporting, well, in that case, we didn't have any supporting documents, but wherever we had supporting documents, we were able to print those out and she was able to receive them, to see them. So that was something I wanted to mention. And with respect to where you all are with your quarterly reports, so right now we've released 5D's first quarter and second quarter allotments. So that means that you all are on track and you're fine. The QFR that's currently due is the first quarter of 23 quarterly report, which are the months of October, November, and December. That was due February the 15th. Let me make sure. I think you all have submitted, but maybe we need to have a conversation about. Yep, 5D has submitted. The only thing that we're missing is, and I can just walk you through that all very quickly, and that's good because maybe you can clean that up for me and we can get your allotments out as quickly as possible. I did have to disallow, and it pains me that I've had to do that, but I did have to disallow some ACH transactions for your Verizon. And I know Commissioner Cobb, you made a great appeal, and I even spoke with the auditor about it, but they were very clear that the law at that time does not allow ACH transactions. Now you all can obtain a debit card, and the debit card can be used to pay your Verizon bill or Fios bill, but unfortunately, when those transactions were made, we don't have permission to do ACH. So unfortunately, I've had to deny those. But we need invoices for checks 338 to 341. So
I uploaded those.
Yep. Okay. So now that those are uploaded, I can go in and check those off. And then you all, yep, there we go. And then you all will be able to get your third quarter of 23 allotment. So 5D is on track and everything's fine from my perspective.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, in terms of those ACH payments, what is Commissioner Cobb, maybe you can clarify. I know we made them for the payments of the internet here at the ANC community room. If you said those were denied, what does that mean? That we won't be reimbursed for those, or?
Correct. So yes, let's see if I have your release.
Or is it rather that our allotment will be subtracted by that amount?
It will be, yes, that's
there you go. Thank you.
So your release memos are up, and you can go into those folders and take a look as well. I won't be releasing, showing you anything inappropriate, but yeah. So what happens is that amount is just deducted from the allotment, and that's sort of how we do it. And
okay.
Let's see, and then Q1,
luckily it's not a big amount.
Additional deduction, but we just deduct that from the allotment. So you may not receive the full amount of the allotment, but you will get a partial allotment.
Okay.
Okay. So that's really all that I wanted to share with you all.
Perfect.
Okay.
Commissioners, any questions?
So we do have a debit card now, so we're all squared away there. And actually, I paid Verizon. I paid the Fios bill tonight with it.
Yes.
2 minutes ago, literally.
Yeah.
That's great news.
So Dawn, in the spreadsheet, how in the check number field, should I just put like debit?
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what you're going to do.
Okay, cool. That's what I've been doing.
Yep.
And then I haven't heard back from the person at DLCP about the whole thing with our signature card, and do you have anything on your end?
I don't, but
Okay.
thanks for reminding me. I'll get with Ms. Shaw tomorrow and we'll try to drill that down so that we
Thanks.
can close the loop on that.
Yeah, because I know we're probably gonna be having some grants here anytime soon. It'd be nice to actually get that money
Now,
out.
if it's any way possible, could you guys maybe wait until maybe May in order to give out any grants? And the reason I'm asking is that we've finally been able to develop in the OANC a grant module where we can really teach and walk the ANCs through how to successfully give out grants and the categories and the areas where grant funding is allowed. And we'd really like an opportunity to roll that out before any more ANCs give out any grants. So, I mean, of course you can collect them, but maybe send them to us in advance, oancs@dc.gov, and let us take a look at them before you issue any grants. Because we don't, it pains us when, you've approved a grant and then we get it and then we have to deny it. We don't want to have to do that anymore.
No, I think that's a fair approach, being that we've had these issues occur during the pandemic, and now that we're coming out of it. And nice that you all have a module for this. So good that you're going to be providing training and on a more clear understanding on how to approach these things. So I'm sure the commissioners would agree that we could wait a few months to get this rolling out.
That'd be
That's
really
fine.
helpful. Thank you.
But in the meantime, it would be nice to get our spending authority soon, because I know I have a check for Reed that's been burning a hole in my pocket for like a month now.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I just want to make sure everybody gets what they're owed.
I understand. So I will definitely get with Ms. Shaw tomorrow and we'll try to figure this out.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you. all
Okay,
for inviting me.
commissioners, no other questions, right? Ms. Dickerson's very busy. I just want to make sure she gets her time. So
Just, well, I'm gonna ask one other question. Are there any other, I know you mentioned that you shared these documents with Commissioner Henderson, which sounds unremarkable generally to me, because it sounds like this was all already available to all of us and is all regarding information that was already known and is in fact old business, I suppose is the right way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
I
a lot
appreciate
of
that.
it's old business, but I would encourage you all as well to go through some of these supporting documents and just familiarize yourself in case I get plenty of questions. So I think you guys are going to get lots of questions. And so just sort of familiarizing yourself, especially if you were on the commission during this time, just familiarizing yourself with some of the expenses and even maybe familiarizing yourself with the minutes or the conversations and things where some of these things occurred. She's going to have a lot of questions.
Sure. No,
as
that's
she
fine.
should.
I was, several of us here are returners, several of us are newcomers, but mostly I was just trying to understand if there was any future implication. It sounds like
No.
it's mostly about
No.
conversation.
No.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dickerson.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Have a good one. Be safe.
Bye-bye. You too. Bye-bye.
Commissioner Seidel Moore, she was very strict with our spending, while myself, Commissioner Cobb, Commissioner Blacknow, and Commissioner Rhodes were part of the commission because of these small hiccups and issues that occurred in the past. So I know under her leadership and under Cobb's diligence as a treasurer, we just were kind of cleaning up the books a bit to ensure that, things wouldn't repeat themselves again, and we can just kind of move forward and stuff. So Commissioner Henderson, yes, she's bringing up old business. She's entitled to do that. It's no issues whatsoever. Ms. Dickerson just wants us to be clear that we already got, dinged for those things in the past. So it's nothing that's going to happen in the future, except for that ACH payment when we didn't have internet here in the room. So it was one of those issues where we had we needed internet. We just had the checking information already on the account and we just clicked pay. So it wasn't,
And we didn't know that ACH was disallowed, because in the past, Seidel would just pay with her own check and I would reimburse her. So,
yeah. But learning curves, I think we're getting over them. So we got to use that debit card for the first time today. So, and the internet's working because I'm here using it, and so they are, and they're also in the room using it as well during this DOEE event. Okay. Any questions from you all, or any concerns or comments before we go back to the agenda itself? No? Okay, I'm going to share my screen to share the agenda. I'm going to zoom in on this. So just touching on old business first, which would be the meeting minutes. Commissioner May, I believe you already drafted those meeting minutes and they're ready to be eventually voted on, accepted at the next public meeting, correct?
Yes, I did want to ask if anyone has questions, feedback, or if, you know, this is the second month for which I've drafted them. So if you have any requests or things that you'd like to see done differently, you know, happy to hear that.
You did email them to us, correct? I believe I get lost in all my emails, but I know you did email them to us. I need to just look through my emails to find them again.
Yeah, I did. It's let's see.
I did review them and I didn't have an issue with the formatting or anything like that. I think that's what you were asking as well, as if it looked clear and understandable.
Yeah, and just if anybody has any, you know, questions or anything like that. I sent them on the 19th.
Okay, perfect. I'll write that down. Thank you.
I just appreciate the level of detail.
Yeah, you actually added the any PowerPoints or letters instead of just, you know, dropping a link in there. You actually, you know, did your effort to include it in the packet for the meeting minutes. So that's great. Okay, cool. Any other questions regarding our last meeting? Any unfinished business from there, including February's meeting? No? Okay. Moving forward, we have administrative business, notice and correspondence management. I believe, Commissioner May, that you had a draft for one of the flyers in terms of notices of the meetings going around for review.
I did draft a flyer, which I got some feedback on, and I'd made some adjustments to. Let me see if I can share the link with you all.
Can you share it on your screen?
Oh, sure, I can do that. Let me
Perfect.
just find it.
Because the five of us can decide and move forward with that tonight.
Okay. Let me just get it up here. Okay. Okay. It should. Are y'all seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. And then let me just go to a full screen view to make it nice and easy. Perfect. Okay. So this is what I drafted so far. It's still a little too big to see. Let me see if I can. Sorry, let's see if I can shrink it here.
Looks good.
Okay. Well, we can look at the top and the bottom
Mhm.
separately. If I can find the. Hang on, let me see if I can find the meeting control.
there you
There
go.
we go. Yeah. I'll take it down just a little bit.
I would say maybe have the phone information in larger font, just because, you know, it's mostly for elders,
Sure.
if it'll fit, yeah.
I can do that.
If it's safe to say that this is targeted more towards our senior citizen population, maybe the QR code doesn't need to be that big. And you can use that space to I don't know, to make something flashier, maybe literally the monthly meeting information in terms of the second Monday of each month, just because we're changing it. I think it's very important just to highlight that technically, that we went from the last 8 years being this every second Tuesday to now every second Monday.
Sure.
That's my only comment on the flyer itself, is just making sure that we emphasize that a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, yeah.
But I liked it because you included all the relevant information that's kind of necessary. Like when you talk about ANC, a lot of people don't know what that is. And
Yeah.
you included what its its main role is in the neighborhood and stuff. And just one little addition in terms of how to catch folks on those top questions that you added, just include litter or trash in there, so or illegal dumping. Just
Oh, sure.
it's a hot topic. I think you did really well with including hot topics in there.
Trying
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Happy to do that. Sorry, I'm just fiddling with spacing here.
No, you're good to do that in real time, so it just gets done.
Okay, so this flyer is mainly for the senior citizens, right?
It's going to be posted publicly around 5D, and we're hoping that it catches senior citizens. One thing that I think, as I don't know if I'm the first Latino chair for 5D or something, but as a Latino, I think I need to have this translated in Spanish.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have my area is becoming I call it a greater melting pot too, as far as
No, I recognize your
Spanish.
area, Commissioner May's area, Commissioner
Yeah.
Henderson's. I recognize there's more Latinos. So I wasn't lying when I was mentioning at the February
Mhm.
meeting that
Mhm.
there's a lot more brown folk out there.
Mhm.
How can we put that in for translating everything, or we can have a second flyer just Spanish, or just translate certain parts of it?
That's a good question.
Because it
That's a
seems
really
like
good question.
because it seems like we're going to end up doing two flyers,
Mhm.
one in English and one in Spanish.
Maybe we can put a blurb if there's space, we can include a blurb on this English flyer for information in Spanish, like si quieres información en español, por favor aquí, or something, and they can clearly see that they can, maybe another QR code.
That's a good idea.
Or maybe adding another tab into our website that's in Spanish, and they can just get directed with resources there. I think that's probably going to need to happen.
I would say
Yeah, we
both
can
of them.
definitely do that.
Yeah, let's do both, not just one.
I think there is space at the bottom of this informational flyer just to put a blurb in Spanish. That way we can have that. Maybe it could be another QR code or just a link, and it just has literally all this information translated. That way we're not littering the neighborhood too much with flyers, but there's clearly language options there. Commissioners, do any of your other constituents have any other language needs? I know we also have an Ethiopian population and some other populations in 5D. But I know the biggest growing community in 5D outside of what we already have is the Latino community. That's why I always press Mayor's Office of Latino Affairs to come over here. But I'll work with Commissioner May on adding the Spanish touches. Does anyone else have
Great.
comments on what he has already? I think this looks great.
Actually, this might be picky, but I would take the also out when it says you can also join our meetings by phone. Just say like you can join our meetings by phone. You know? Yeah.
Cool. I like it. Any other touches or comments, commissioners?
Looks good.
Okay, well, I move with the addition of adding Spanish language access at the bottom of this flyer, that we accept this as a public notice to post around ANC 5D. Can I get a second on that?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Blacknell. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you, Commissioner May, for this. This is really nice.
Perfect. All right, yeah, just let me know when you have that text, Commissioner Soseda Guzman.
Well, I'll do that.
Uh,
Yes, Commissioner Alvin?
Are we going to put the signs up as well, like Commissioner May was mentioning? Should we do that?
Yeah, so that was my next piece on this was printing and distribution. So here at the ANC Community Room, we have a big HP printer, and we can print them here. And we can give a fair amount to each commissioner. I personally don't mind going with any of the commissioners that need help just distributing in their SMDs. I just suggest just setting up a date and just walking around the SMD and just doing it together. I don't mind helping because sometimes it can just be a little too much, I guess, to walk by yourself with a bunch of flyers and trying to get them posted on poles and signs and stuff. But if you all have any suggestions, feel free to chime in.
Same here. I'm willing to help. But actually what I meant was the lawn signs that get stuck in the ground. Because I think Commissioner May was talking about having those as well to advertise the meetings. So I just wanted,
Yeah.
The yard signs.
yes.
Now, I think the yard signs are a very good idea, but in my area, they're going to be taken up. Now, I know we have to put 2 different types of notification in the area. Just like I said, I have no problem with the yard signs, but I know in my area, the way these people act, somebody is going to take them up.
Okay. The yard signs I think we can get. I mean, we still have, I'm literally sitting next to the old ones that have Tuesday on them, and there's about like 15 here still. So I wish we could use them, but obviously we can't. I would suggest that these yard signs, we just place them in high traffic areas where people, where residents continuously drive by, walk by, bike by, and attract those kind of residents instead of just putting them on blocks and in houses, just making them use that way. Commissioner May, would this be something you'd be able to still design?
Yeah, I had put together, I mean, I'm not a graphic designer, so I put together a super basic outline for what one of these could look like, which I am happy to show on the screen. I think I may have also emailed these out, but it's been a while. So let me just share what I had put together. It's the same QR code. It's just a much more simplified design, since this would just be for a yard sign instead of a flyer, which I think a flyer you could reasonably include more text without, trying to go full screen here, without making it too hard for people to read it. So this is what I designed. I think the reality too with the yard sign, this is my feeling on it anyway, is that it's harder to pack more information on it. If we want it to be evergreen, then we just need to link to the website as opposed to including all the call-in info and stuff like that.
So this is what the, I don't know if you can see it. Obviously that's blurry. Let me see if I can take away where's my thing? Blur my background. It was fairly simple. It just says community news, join ANC 5D the second Tuesday of each month, and it just had our contact info at the bottom. I think that's more effective than these ones, because you have to stop and read this, and if we're trying to catch people like on the bus or walking, driving, it can be that simple, and include the QR code.
Yeah, we can go with something more like the design you've got there. Yeah, this might be too complicated.
Yeah, or something that has a little more on it than that, but I mean, that's maybe should have the phone number on it as well, for the older
So
people.
this one had we were paying for a text service, that had that if you just texted ANC 5D to the number on the signs, they automatically got registered to our mailing listserv, and got notices that way as well through text.
Yeah.
I need to ask former Commissioner Linehan how he set that up. But I think what's most important now is that we get the regular sheet notices out, and then at least start having these ones out by April. These larger these larger yard signs by April.
Yeah, I mean, I think possibly we could cover the Tuesday up and put a Monday also.
That's gonna be tacky. That's very tacky. No, I don't mean no harm, but that's gonna be tacky. I don't want to do that.
We'll put
But
glitter
we
on it,
all,
Bernice.
you know me, okay? And we don't have a lot of money, so
Yeah.
it has to stay simple and plain.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. We don't have a lot of money.
Okay. So being that we touched on the regular public notices flyers today, we'll move the yard signs to next month's agenda and discuss it further there to see where we're at. The mailing list serve in the MailChimp. Commissioner May, I know you've been asking for the MailChimp. I just found out that supposedly it's registered to my 5D05 account, but I do not have the password. So I'm getting that information so we can look into the MailChimp. So if you can just write that note down to follow up with me on the password. The mailing list serve commissioners, we need to consistently have that updated. On my to-do list with Commissioner May is just finding the best way to update our mailing list serve so we can ensure that everyone's on there. I saw correspondence on Twitter between some of the commissioners and residents saying that they're not on there, that they're not getting notices, but our 5G Gmail account has all the emails registered anytime someone registers on a Zoom, that goes to our Gmail account. So we just need to make sure that the pool is correct. So we'll be updating that in the next couple months. So if there's any time you meet a resident that wants to be added to our listserv, the easiest thing that I suggest you to just let them know or advise them, just email your name to DC, email your name to anc5d@gmail.com. So just have them send us an email and then we'll add them that way, just manually add them that way. Because we technically have some different little apparatuses on our website and such like that for the mailing listserv. But just so it doesn't get lost in any of that, just tell them, send us an email and we'll add you to the listserv. Simple as that.
Could you send that address?
Maybe we can bring that up in our March meeting, and it passed on.
We'll do that. We'll add that as
Would that be a good idea?
We'll add an administrative portion to the next meeting, and we'll continuously do that just so people are reminded how to correctly contact us.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that Mr. Cobb and I were chatting with people about on Twitter was that nothing has gone out from us in a couple of months. There's been no meeting reminders or anything like that. So that's most of what that's why I think we need to get into MailChimp and get some messages scheduled to send.
It's interesting because I email all the 300 and something registered folks on our Gmail account the notice in the Zoom. So it sounds like just certain people just never have been on our listserv, and they were just maybe on the MailChimp or they were just on the text service. So that person I saw who you were corresponding with, she's a long-term resident, so I'm kind of surprised she was not just on our Gmail listserv. But like I said, we're going to figure this all out and just have one pool, one listserv that we can consistently use to ensure that everyone's getting the same information.
Yeah, I mean, I used to get emails from 5D before I was a commissioner, and I'm not getting them anymore. So I'm not sure.
Commissioner May, have you asked the OANC for access to the 5D ANC account as our secretary?
No, is that the account or is it the Gmail that's connected to
So
MailChimp?
the Gmail is the MailChimp apparently is connected to my 5DO5 because Sadell was the chair and she was 5DO5. And send an email to the OANC, CCing me on it just for access to the 5D ANC account.
Okay.
So we're doing a little bit better with correspondence, which is good. I hope by next COW meeting we're doing a lot better, and by April this is solid. That's the goal. We're transitioning and moving some stuff around, so it's just going to take some time. Any questions on the correspondence management piece? No? Okay. We need to hire an ANC administrative staff. Commissioner Cobb, you as treasurer just want to ensure that we can afford this since we're kind of low on funds. I mean, we don't have as much as we used to have. So strategically, I just want to ensure that if we do hire someone that we can keep them, you know, we don't have to fire them or let them go eventually just because we can't afford to keep them. And with that being said, I would want to ask commissioners if we can create a hiring committee to hire an administrative staff. Right now, we have an intern who's been helping us with some old business, but moving forward, we do need someone to assist with the correspondence piece is one, ensuring that we have interpreters at our public meetings, that reminders are being sent for stuff. We've been correctly sending notices out, but sometimes it's just, you know, nice to have someone just to follow up and send stuff again. So if any commissioners are interested in at least, I would prefer at least 3 commissioners to be part of this hiring committee. The focus would be to one, what's the word I'm looking for? To create like a contract for someone for this administrative position, 2, recruit and interview someone for this position, and 3, ensure that the position is financially capable of being financed properly through our commission. So if any of y'all are interested, feel free to speak up now. I hope to have this committee done in the next 4 weeks. So by the next COW, we'll know which commissioners are on this hiring committee, and we can proceed, start the process in hiring an ANC staff member. Some other commissions, not all commissions, but some other commissions do have long-term standing staff, admin staff, that have been very helpful with the behind the scenes stuff. So I think this will be very beneficial for our commission as a whole and for our committees, because a lot of what we do is volunteer based, and not that we're looking for funds, but sometimes the funds that we do have to earn at our 9 to 5 does affect the time and capacity that we have for small little administrative things that a commissioner has to follow up with. So feel free to chime in if you have any comments on that or any concerns or any comments, but that's one of my goals as a chair, just to have this position eventually filled for our commission.
Personally, I'm inclined to say that I'd like to see us scope out a job description before we formally move forward to hiring someone. As the person serving as secretary for this term, I mean, when it comes to things like correspondence and things like that, I think there's a lot of that I can get done, assuming that I can get into MailChimp and whatnot. The biggest issue for me right now is access to stuff. So I just want to make sure that the biggest thing is, are we using the funds that we have in the most judicious way? Just knowing that, you know, I think our budget for this year, you know, it's not unlimited, is the best way to put it. So I just want to make sure we're being cognizant of that.
Yeah, I think we need to figure out what we can handle ourselves when we, you know, really get rolling with our respective duties, and what gaps an administrative assistant could fill in. Because, like as treasurer, I am worried about the funds.
Yep. Yep, and that's why I want a committee to make this decision whether we can have one or not. So I know we need it. I know we need it. Whether it's stuff that we just need to pick up the ball and lift it up even further and do more, then yes, we can obviously do that. But there's gaps that are not being filled, and we need to make sure that they are being filled, whether it's a commissioner doing it, an intern, or an administrative staff. So I'll be chatting with some other commissions to see what they do, how many hours they have some folks working, like a month, or what exactly are they're tasked with. So that's my research. That's what I'm going to be doing. But I know there's certain things that we need to do better at, and I think is having either stronger responsibilities within the commissioners or someone able to fill these small little roles, and it's necessary. So just because I want to see an administrative staff doesn't mean it's going to happen. I just know that this conversation needs to be had, and this committee hopefully will be able to clarify some things and figure out some things in terms of this need.
Maybe we can, just like Commissioner May say, the job descriptions, see what he can do as the secretary, and then we can find out how much money we have. Everything, because we still got to pay those, the Verizon bill and everything, the interpreter and everything, the intern and everything, and we gonna have to, far as the printing goes, just the little small things add up.
Yeah. And like I said, I know a lot of us are still transitioning and getting things situated. So, and especially since we still need to pay our intern, it's nothing that I'm pressed on needing. I just know that the needs of certain things need to be met and picked up on. So, I just messaged Seidel for the see if she has the password again. So hopefully she responds for that MailChimp. But we'll discuss this further at our March COW. So if you guys happen to speak with any commissioners that have ANC staff working for them, let me know so I can chat with them and see how they make use of them and pay them. Okay. That pretty much goes for old business. Any other old business items that we need to discuss? Nope. Okay. Moving forward, new business. It says February ANC public meeting. This will say March. We need to vote on the location for next month's meeting. Does any commissioners have preference of how to hold next month's meeting?
Hold on a minute. Let me get my notebook out here, because we can go up to May.
I again, commissioners, I do not have a preference with virtual or in person. I do lean towards in person because I do like that touch with doing business and with meeting constituents, but I defer back to you all in terms of your preference, and we can vote based on that.
Well, I don't see why we can't do both. Is there a problem? Anybody against doing both?
I just wonder about the logistics.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
I just wonder about the logistics of trying to do both. Do we have the capability for that?
Yeah, that's my biggest concern as well, is the tech for a hybrid meeting.
Yeah, I think everybody have a mic on. I think.
Sorry, Commissioner Roblin, your audio sounds staticky, not staticky, like buzzy, so we can't hear what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I said. Go and say I can't hear you.
I think everybody might have to wear a mic. If we're gonna do that.
Oh,
Sure.
got it. So I know, I'm just gonna mute you right quick. So, sorry. So I know logistically, in terms of technology, I think what we would need to make a hybrid option possible is the purchase of a camera. We might have a camcorder, but if I'm not mistaken, it was damaged when the community room was burglarized and broken into. So it might be working, it might not be working. I can't confirm that, but I think technology-wise, that would be the only thing that we would need to proceed with a hybrid option. Because I think the second, I'm sorry, the first meeting that was held, Bernice, Commissioner Blacknell, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think one of the first meetings that was held right before everything shut down did have these cameras set up. And then everything just moved
Yes,
entirely
it was
virtual.
in there.
Everyone was on their computer, and that's how they proceeded. But I can't remember, Commissioner Cobb, if the camera was stolen or if it was damaged, but I know something happened to it when we were robbed back in 2021. We've
Yeah, the
been
camera got
broken.
damaged.
Yeah, we've been broken into
Yeah,
like
I think so.
3 or 4 times in the last 2 years. But in terms of the hybrid option, my only concern would be security. Ensuring that everyone is safe, not just from any illnesses, anything being spread around, but just any folks that want to do harm to any of the commissioners or constituents, because I know sometimes our meetings can be very rowdy with certain special characters in them. So that would be my only concern.
Yes. Very, very.
And I believe Commissioner Rhodes made it very clear as well that she would not be interested in returning unless we did have security or police presence available at our meetings to ensure that everyone was safe. So being that we have not touched on the topic of hybrid meetings before, I suggest that we do proceed with this conversation to the next COW to see if maybe we can start it in April or May. Because correct me, Commissioner, you're fine. Correct me, Commissioner Blacknell. Is our May meeting allowed to be virtual, or is that one that's when we start having them in person?
Okay, this email that I received was on December the 17th, and it was from Mr. Kent. Okay, the mayor and Phil Mendelson signed it saying that we can go virtual for 225 days from December the 8th, 2022. So I think that is May.
Anyone able to do the math on that to confirm the date?
Yeah, I'm looking now. I know I've seen this somewhere.
Because our May, technically our May ANC public meeting will be May 8th. And there happens to be 1, 2, 3. There happens to be 5 Mondays in May this year.
Yeah, because it says this action shall expire after 225 days of its taking effect. So this went effect on December the 8th.
Authorized until May 2nd. It's May 2nd. So
Okay.
Our May meeting
Has to be in person.
as of now. My
There you go.
guess is that this is going to be extended.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'd be surprised if it weren't, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, I think as a commission, we should prepare to present ourselves physically at our community room on May 8th and hold the meetings hybrid, virtual and in person. So people can still attend virtually via our Zoom link or WebEx if needed. But being that that's a May matter, moving back to March. Does any commissioners want to make a motion to hold our March meeting virtually?
Yeah, I'll move to hold the March meeting virtually.
Okay, can Commissioner May get a second for that?
Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Roblin. And all in favor of holding March's ANC public meeting virtually via Zoom, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I
Okay.
abstain.
Oh, you abstain?
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't have quorum then. Well, 5 of us didn't move forward. I feel like Commissioner Rhodes voted, or well, I know.
Actually, I'll change mine to aye.
Okay, well, the motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Roblin, for clarifying. We'll hold the March meeting virtually via Zoom. And as a commission, I do request that we start discussing holding hybrid meetings April or May, especially May if the current document stands from the mayor's office. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, moving forward. New commission business, we decided on next week's meeting setup, which will be via Zoom. Commissioner discussion request here. Commissioner Roblin wants to set up a Signal group chat. Commissioner Roblin, would you like to state your reasons and start the conversation?
Excuse me. Yeah. I think it would be super helpful, especially for me, because I'm new and I'm very uninformed about many things, especially things like zoning issues, exterior of buildings issues, affordable housing. I mean, but I think it's not just for that reason, but it could be really good to discuss different things and hear everybody's point of views, and also make sure we get sufficient.
Commissioner, you're breaking up. It sounds like, I don't know if your thing is too loud or what, but you're constantly breaking up.
It sounds like you're next to a microwave.
Just my phone.
But just to kind of echo what you're saying, or at least my understanding of what you're saying is that being a new commissioner, you would benefit from having a group chat created amongst commissioners to assist on matters that you're learning as you're going as an ANC commissioner, correct?
Secondary. That's secondary. Can you hear me, everybody?
No, I might try, Anna. I might try disconnecting and reconnecting. It's really bad.
I can put it in the chat too.
That sounds, no, I don't know if it's what you're holding or.
Did
have
you get
headphones
an
that you can
email
use?
about?
Do you have headphones, Commissioner Roblin?
Yeah, I think so.
We're gonna come back to the Signal chat so you can effectively discuss that, including your other items. Moving to some other items that were presented by Commissioner May. Some of the items was the grant item or a grant committee item. I think we discussed that a little bit with Ms. Dickerson. Did you want to touch on that again, Commissioner May?
Sure. I'll just briefly share. So mostly what I wanted to talk about was whether we want to establish a process for considering grants. I think given what Ms. Dickerson just shared, it sounds like we probably ought to wait until at least May or June of this year to begin considering awarding any grants. I did, as I mentioned briefly, I did meet with some of the folks over at Carver Terrace, including the folks at Family Community Fellowship, and they mentioned that we'd supported them in the past and indicated a desire to renew that support. But based on everything that I've heard today, it sounds like that's probably not the greatest idea. And so I think I don't even think we'd be able to give them a similar size grant anyway, given our financial situation. So I don't feel like that's something we need to pursue urgently, but I do think that maybe second half of this year, or once we get to a place where we would be ready to give out grants, that we figure out a process for considering grant applications.
Okay. Commissioner Cobb, can you remind us how much the OANC gives us in terms of funding throughout the year?
It's about 4,000 in quarterly allotments, so 16,000 a year, give or take.
Got it, 16,000 a year. And that's just obviously following proper protocols and not having any boo-boos or hiccups, correct?
That is correct. So it looks right. Maybe this year it'll be closer to maybe 12,000 or 13,000, assuming nothing else goes wrong. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I do echo with what Commissioner May said, that we should probably wait until the ONC has more clear instructions and guidelines on grants, being that we've had some reimbursements denied from what we've granted the community in the past. Does any commissioners feel against that, or any comments on that?
I agree.
Okay. I think that it's still fair to say that that ANC 5D does offer grants to the community, but just to let folks know that are requesting them or interested in them, that we'll be delaying that process until the summer when we have better, clear guidelines from DC government. Commissioner Roblin, can you speak now?
Is this better?
Much better.
Yes, much better.
Okay, going back to the Signal group chat. Go ahead, Commissioner Roblin.
Okay, not mostly because I don't know that enough, but mostly just so we can adequately discuss different issues, hear different people's viewpoints, get the full history. Like I'm really unhappy about what happened with Commissioner Sabrina, that nobody heard that history, because I don't think we would have voted the same way, and it was
with
an important,
the PUD at Union Market.
Yeah, it was an important building too. So, I think it would be really handy for all kinds of things, for reminding people of things, for discussing, anything that needs to be discussed. I just think it would be really handy, and nobody has to participate, it's voluntary.
Mm-hmm. Any comments or concerns from the commission?
Commissioner Robert, did you get an email in reference to a class this Saturday? It's at 10 o'clock. It's in reference to zoning and everything. You get that? There you go.
Yeah, I know. But knowing me, it's not going to be
okay.
Sufficient. It's not going to do it. But it's not just for me. It's like to more like discuss and make sure everyone knows all the important issues. It's more for that,
Commissioner Roblin, to be transparent, the commission in the past did have a Signal group chat that we used all. We had all the commissioners on there, and we actively used it. I think Commissioner Blacknell was the only one that wasn't on there because she wasn't too tech savvy or didn't need it too much, being that she's an experienced ANC. But Commissioner Cobb can share also the use of it. We actively used it to give people updates like, hey, there's a fire over here, or hey, this agency, blah 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 blah, which was very helpful. But I do recognize that we don't have the same commission, and we don't have the same commissioners, and I'm very honest with my opinion to recognize that some of the commissioners on our commission are not folks that I would want to sit down and eat with sometimes. So I made it very clear when I ran for chair, or at least took on the responsibility as chair at our very first meeting, that my mental health matters. And being that Commissioner Henderson has been very aggressive with her opinion, sometimes I'm just not interested in sharing a space with her in a chat level per se. This meeting is public, and the residents can make opinions of my comments, but I just personally don't think that commissioners or anyone should deal with people like that, that are always combative and always intentionally trying to misunderstand you. And that's how I feel about Commissioner Henderson as a
Yeah.
commissioner in her role that we have to, deal with her. I respect her. I respect her constituents, but I've made it clear that I will only share correspondence with her through her ANC account.
Well, I would be in favor of if anyone makes any sort of not okay comment, that they not be allowed to stay in the chat, So I would say the first time she does it, if she's going to do it, I would say maybe a warning, or maybe just that we just make it clear that if someone is going to do that, they can't stay in the chat. And I think that's
Excuse me.
legal.
She's not, don't interrupt you. She's not, okay? She's not.
She's not what?
She's not. She's not going to cooperate. Kathy Henderson, she's not going to cooperate. Kathy Henderson is just Kathy Henderson. I have saw the emails that she had sent to you. They weren't very nice. And when the new commissioners came on, I specifically said, leave Commissioner Henderson alone. Leave her alone. Let her be. She's just Kathy. I understand you trying to be helpful and everything, but you don't want to mess with her. You really don't. You don't want to get on her bad side. Just let her be. Because no matter how nice you communicate with her, how nice you talk to her, she's not going to listen. She's going to do what she want to do. Okay? She's going to do that. Anytime she didn't try to have me locked up twice. And I'm going to tell you how bad she is. I'm doing a walkthrough with the deputy mayor of safety. Okay, I'm walking with him. She gonna tell the police to lock me up. For what? The deputy mayor told her to leave me alone. That's how dangerous she is. We don't need that. We don't.
I hear you.
But we don't. Okay.
But would it work to just like have a rule that if someone is rude or in the least bit not okay, that they are not allowed any longer in the chat, or would that just not be good enough?
I think in that situation, she would feel that that we intentionally are keeping her out of a network that she feels the need to belong to or something.
Well, one other thing to consider is that if we have a signal channel, it's not an official thing,
Right.
We're not taking any official action on it. There's no rule that says we have to invite her.
No, but in all fairness, she should be given the invitation.
Not necessarily. If she has what she's done in the past might say, no, she doesn't need to.
I understand where you're coming from, Commissioner
maybe.
Rowland, but as the chair and someone that just loves to play devil's advocate, out of fairness, she should deserve an invite. So I would suggest that this conversation, so we can move on to the next topic, go ahead and create a signal chat and feel free to add the commissioners that you feel comfortable with, that you feel that you will not have any issues with, and hopefully share a similar experience to what I had when I first joined as an ANC commissioner, and you can take the conversation from there. But I hope you don't find any trouble. That's all I say on that.
I'll think about it and whatever, but thank you, everybody. Appreciate that.
And Commissioner Roblin, moving on to the next topic, you wanted a creation of a subcommittee under environmental and community, under our environmental and community committee. Can you discuss that subcommittee?
Yeah, I've been already starting up a group that I call Community Support and Action Group. And it's just to take on like different projects in the community. People would decide together what they want to work on, what they want to do, and people could do anything. We need some legal guidance for certain things, but anything from doing a cleanup crew to helping somebody, having a mission to help people who had a health situation and can't do things for themselves, to lobbying for certain things, to helping any group that wants to get, say, a playground or something like that done, help get petitions signed, just help work on different projects of everyone's choosing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It sounds like an advocacy piece under the committee in general, and I think it's fine to request to create a subcommittee, but maybe I would suggest just asking Sabrina if you would be interested in being co-chair to run those portions under the committee itself. What do you think about that?
Sure, whatever works, whatever the right way to do it is. Yeah.
Okay. Any suggestions from commissioners or comments? No. Okay, Commissioner Robinson, so we'll do, we still need to sit down and meet with Sabrina. So feel free to send us, myself and Sabrina, Commissioner Rhodes, I'm sorry, Commissioner Rhodes, an email with your availability. I'm kind of flexible with a week's notice to meet during the day, and she's very flexible also sometimes to meet at the clubhouse, which is Ivy City's little community center that they have in creation outside of what Carmel used to be. It's very small, but it's a great little site that they have in the center of Ivy City, where Commissioner Rhodes happens to be majority of the week, and we can meet there and discuss. How does that sound to you?
Great. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
perfect. So yeah,
Yeah.
send us your availability for the next 2 weeks, and we can set that up.
Thank you.
Perfect. Commissioner May, going back to one of your action discussion items, I'm sorry. You brought up the idea of letters of support for CM Parker's budget priorities. Was there one in specific or something in general that you would like to see the ANC sign off on?
I mostly was curious to hear if other people are interested in pursuing anything like this. I know some other agencies are doing this. It would obviously take some additional work on our end to draft a letter that would support priorities in there, but there are things in there that I know people on this commission care about, like the Carmel School, support for the park space I've been advocating for is in there. There's support for some major infrastructure projects that I know matter to certain commissioners and some constituents, and of course, there are a lot of things in the letter, so there may be other things as well. So I wanted to see if there was an interest in it. If there isn't, that's okay. I don't think we have to do it, but I want to.
I think Commissioner Cobb, you've done that in the past. Have you, Commissioner Cobb? I think send some letters for budget priorities in terms of transportation, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken. It must have just been something random outside of budget, but
I don't know if it was budget per se, but I've drafted letters, advocating for the council to, allocate funds somewhere for transportation. Yeah. And so, I mean, I could send a template or just one of the ones that we've used before. And Commissioner May, I would definitely support a letter like that. I saw he did have something in there for Carver Langston Park Space, and he has something in there for the Trinidad Green Space too.
Okay. I like the idea that maybe we can take the Green Space Avenue by reinforcing our needs at Carmel School, Trinidad, and Carver Langston for green space. I think that would be a great letter to see us push out for our March public meeting. Commissioner Blacknell, what do you think?
Right now, between us, I'm upset with Zachary Parker because there was money allocated for Spingarn, and none of that was in his budget. And when I spoke to him about it at our February ANC meeting, he said he would get back with me offline, and he has not done it. Now, they done vandalized Spingarn. They done spray painted the front of Spingarn there and everything. I think it's When are they gonna get started on the school?
So that's something that we can obviously add to this letter that we'll work on. I can assist you, Commissioner May, to work on this letter. I know Commissioner Rhodes has already submitted a lot of testimony to DPR on Carmel. She's the face of that movement in Ivy City. So I'm positive there's already stuff out there, but we can definitely add the need for funds allocated to Spingar in terms of what it is to the community. So I think if we approach this in a green space avenue, we can tackle all this in one letter.
Great. I'm happy to put a sketch together, Commissioner Saucedo Guzman. I'll send it to you, and then we can get it ready so that it can be noticed with the agenda for March.
Okay. And as long as the chair, I just wanted to make sure that it's reviewed by Commissioner Cobb for that green space in Trinidad, Commissioner Blacknell for Spingarn, and Commissioner Rhodes for Carmel. As long as they okay it, I'm entirely fine with getting this letter out there and voting on it in March.
Yeah, I'll pass it to the whole group for input. I mean, it's ultimately something that would be coming from all of us, and so we'd be bringing it together. So we can all make adjustments or suggestions.
I'll make it a point to make sure I call every single one of those commissioners to ensure that their input was provided, just because it's necessary to ensure that everyone has their voices heard. Commissioner Blacknell, I'm sorry that Spingarn didn't get any funding that was supposedly going to be allocated to it, but I know Langdon, our neighbors up north in is it 5? It's not 5B. Who is it? 5? What are they above us? 5C? 5A?
Yeah, I think it's 5C.
5C. Jeremiah Montague let me know that they were supposedly promised around 14 or 20 million for their project, and at the end of the day it was just dwindled down to 4 or 6. So they missed out on some millions as well. So one thing I just told Commissioner Rhodes was I'm happy Carmel didn't lose anything. They were requesting more, but they didn't lose anything. So I'm sorry that Spingar wasn't one of those ones that kind of was saved in that manner, but we'll work on it. We'll get this letter out.
You know, it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be the infrastructure academy. He didn't even put that in the budget. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Commissioner May.
I was just going to say, just so you all know, the budget's not final yet. The mayor still needs to make final decisions. So you could still reach out to the mayor's office, Commissioner Blacknell, and by putting this note about Spingarn in our letter to the mayor, we can advocate for that funding to the mayor as she makes her decisions.
Okay. Those were all the commissioner discussion requests. Was there anything else that any commissioners have the need to discuss amongst the commission? Anything else that we didn't get to touch? That's
Commissioner Salvador, when you have time, you know, we gotta Commissioner May, myself, and Commissioner Carlin about this violence in
domestic violence situation. Yes, that needs to, I need to follow up with it's not Captain Merrill. I need to follow up with Captain Merrill on that when he reached out to us regarding the domestic violence uptick that they're having on y'all's end of 5D. I'll follow up with him this week and see what we can do. Commissioner Roblin did bring up the need. I'm sorry, I skipped this, Commissioner Roblin, the need for a violence interrupter presentation.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that we should move this presentation not till March, but till April, when the weather is officially warm and in kind of the kickoff for the season of a lot more folks being out and about, and some folks just doing some things they shouldn't be doing. So commissioners, not that this is a requirement or anything, but I do request that we kind of try to keep our April meeting as open as possible. so we can have time and space for the violence interrupters to present, the ones that are specifically assigned to our SMDs and areas. Trinidad has their own set. Ivy City has their own set. Bernice, remind me, do you all have your own violence interrupters?
No, and I just talked to Mr. Ingram on Friday about it. I
Okay.
received an email for a valid interrupter. I asked for his contact information that I would like to meet with him. He has not returned
Carver
my
Langston doesn't have
phone
violence
call. He
interrupters?
has not responded to my email. No, Langston has a valid interrupter, but the president of the Langston Terrace resident council said that she hadn't seen no valid interrupter there.
Okay. I know they're not, I know we technically have them in Ivy City, but they're not as active there. So they might be assigned to the neighborhood, but they might not just be as present as you would want them to be. So I'm going to be following up with the
No,
Office
we
of the
haven't
Attorney
seen her.
General. I'm going to be following up with the Office of the
Yes,
Attorney General
please.
to have them present in April. So commissioners, I just ask if we could potentially kind of keep that meeting as open as possible, just so we can have enough time for them to present. So it's not a 3 or 4 hour meeting. But obviously, if there's any voting items that we need to present at the meeting, we obviously need to bring those up. But if you do have letters of support or resolutions that you want to pass, try to get them done by the next COW so we can vote on them at the next COW in March, and we can just add them as a consent calendar item and just move the agenda forward the night of the public meeting. Is there any confusion on that? Because I know as a new commissioner, I was a bit confused with the consent calendar. But pretty much consent calendar items are just items that were already discussed when the commission had a quorum, and items that were already voted on. And as long as we vote on the consent calendar items the day of the public meeting, there's no need for additional discussion, just additional voting. It just moves forward.
I mean, Commissioner, I was actually thinking of it more as a separate meeting for the violence interrupters to be a lot more in depth and more of a general one, just for basic understanding and knowledge. I mean, it would be great to have the specific ones for our areas report at a meeting, but I was thinking of more to go into depth in a totally separate meeting that we would just arrange on a different day, not having anything to do with
I agree.
our meetings.
I agree, but I think the need there would be a need of two. One that we present at our public meeting, and then a follow-up in person, preferably in May, to kick off the summer.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So that's what we call a special meeting.
Right.
Something outside of our public meeting. So you requesting a special meeting with the valid interrupters.
That would be one of our first.
That's what we call a special meeting.
Commissioner Robin, that should be one of our first.
Commissioner Bernice.
One of our first projects for the environmental and community committee, getting ready for that in-person event.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Okay, cool. In terms of ANC March public agenda items, just to close off this meeting, I didn't write anything here, just to clarify. I know that there are some voting action items with PUDs or BZA cases. Please email me directly the BZA case or the PUD so I can add them to the March agenda. I'll draft that and send it out on Friday so you all can look at it. And then that March agenda technically should be noticed on the 6th to the public. So I'll try to get it out earlier, actually by Wednesday. So, but does anyone recall of any special presentations or anyone that needed to present at our next meeting outside of any zoning items?
No, I think mine was that. My only one was the M Street, and that's taken care of.
Yeah, that's done. Commissioner May, did you have anybody needing to present? Commissioner Roblin?
I haven't asked them, but there's a special hearing coming up in June for 1108 Montello, which was one of the ones that is really the troubled area. All of a sudden I got it notice that they're actually gonna try to build something there. So
Mhm.
I don't know the procedure
But
though.
they haven't gone through our zoning committee yet.
I just got a notice that there's a hearing in June.
Okay, they probably didn't go through zoning yet.
I'll email it
I
to
sent
you.
an email to
Yeah.
Kevin Horgan yesterday
Mm.
asking him to confirm which ones are needed to be on the March agenda so we can vote on them. But it seems like those items, I think that there's at least two. So I think those items will take up some time during our meeting because they'll need to present and we'll discuss, allow the public to speak on it and also vote on it at the end of the day. But just confirming again if there's any need for any special presentations or requested presentations. Commissioners, I couldn't find the email, but I think there was a request from DC Water or something involving water.
Yeah, I got that email. Like
Mm.
I gotta find it. But yeah, Kathy, Commissioner Henderson responded back to them and
Yeah.
said that
Can-
she would make sure they get put on the March agenda.
Commissioner Blacknell, can you find that email and respond again and let them know to reach out to me just so I can get them on the agenda? I couldn't find it.
Okay.
Thank
Okay,
you. I
I'll see
appreciate
if I
that.
can find it.
Commissioner, may I
I
have
have
the,
it.
okay,
If you want, I'll
if you have
send
it up
to
already, Commissioner Robin, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'll send it.
Commissioner, may I have the MailChimp info? So I'll forward that to you shortly.
Awesome. That's great.
Okay. Any other things, commissioners, before I adjourn this meeting? Okay, I think it was productive. I can only speak for myself. I think it was a productive meeting. So if there's anything else is needed, you all know how to reach me. Um, thank you all for being. I wasn't transparent with the whole commission, but I did go to Mexico earlier this month to be with family, and I was there for 2 weeks, and I was moderating that public meeting from Mexico. So luckily the internet wasn't too bad. I think you guys heard that Chihuahua was though. But thank y'all for some of y'all being patient with me in terms of getting to my emails and stuff. So it was a random trip I didn't expect. So I just wanted to keep it as under wraps as possible. And shout out to Commissioner Rhodes for looking over my on the ground needs with my constituents. So she's not on tonight's meeting, but I just want to give a shout out to her because she helped me on that. But other than that, I move that we adjourn tonight's meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Raleigh and Commissioner Black. Now, all in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.